Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. This is virtual class of Pakistan International School, Taif. I am Miss Bushra Tanveer. This is Social Studies class for grade 7. This is our 11th video of this social studies class. In this video, we shall discuss chapter number 12 from the textbook. Dear students, after today's lesson, we shall be able to understand the text given in chapter 12. We shall be able to understand the MCQs, short question answers and the long question answers given in the exercise. Dear students, today we shall discuss chapter number 12. The heading of the chapter: Muslim scientists, philosophers and travelers. Now we shall start the paragraph for the first subheading of the chapter. The period from the 9th century to 15th century can be called the zenith of Muslim world. We have historical accounts of the achievements of various people. There were scientists, mathematicians, philosophers, travelers who left behind records of what they accomplished. We give here a brief history of some of these remarkable individuals. Dear students, today we shall discuss about the life and also the invention of the Muslim scientists, philosophers and the travelers. Means that the scientists, what they had invented, and what are the invention of the philosophers, and also the traveler from where they had start their journey, and they in which countries they traveled or they did their traveling in the countries, in the different Muslim countries. And also we shall discuss about the achievements of the different scientists, mathematicians, philosophers and the travelers. And also we shall discuss about their accomplishment, means what they set up, or they have written different kinds of books. We shall also discuss in this chapter. And also we shall see the remarkable individuals, mean each and every person. We have to see the achievements of each and every person in this chapter. Dear students, first subheading of this chapter: Ibn Battuta. The era is 1304 till 1368. Ibn Battuta was probably the most famous of the early Muslim travelers. On foot and on animal back, he covered about 120,000 kilometers, the equivalent of 3 times around the equator. He traveled from Spain to China and from Central Africa to Russian steppes. His accounts tell us much about the Muslim world of the 14th century. Dear students, in this subheading we shall discuss about Ibn Battuta. He was a famous traveler and he traveled on foot and on animal also. And he traveled in different countries: Spain, China, Central Africa, Russia. And also this was the time of the 14th century. Dear students, Ibn Battuta, we shall also discuss about the life of that person. First of all, we shall discuss about the education. He studied law like of the rest of his family, and when he was 21 years, he set off on a pilgrimage to Mecca. On his first journey, he went to Mecca via Red Sea, and then he also traveled in different countries: Syria, Iraq, Khorasan, southern Persia, Azerbaijan, and back to Baghdad. He settled in Arabia 3 years, and then he started again his journey. His travels took him to Jeddah, Yemen, Aden, Tanzania. In these areas, he traveled by boat, we can see, by ship or in the sea. South Arabia, Amman, Hormuz, South Persia, and back to Mecca. His next journey was to the Black Sea, Crimea, Constantinople, Russian steppes, and also Samarkand, Khorasan, Afghanistan, Hindu Kush, and across the Indus. All these are the name of the countries where he traveled, and also he was very famous among the rulers, princes, sultans, and emperors. He has had the relationship or the friendly relation with these people. Yes, students, we shall also discuss about the life of Ibn Battuta, and later on he moved to Delhi, where he met the temperamental king Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and he was appointed as a Qazi or judge at Tughlaq court. He became involved in a war on the Malabar coast and was shipwrecked at Coromandel. He sailed on to Maldives and then to Bengal. He also traveled Assam, Sumatra, China, Beijing, returned via Sumatra, Baghdad, Syria, and Egypt. He made a final pilgrimage to Mecca and then returned to Morocco, Tunisia, arriving home in 1349. He was on his travel once more across the strait to Granada, the last Muslim kingdom in Spain. Dear students, in front of your computer screen you can see the picture of Ibn Battuta and the king or the emperor of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Ibn Battuta at the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, kissing his hand. Now we shall see the paragraph. Though he finally wanted to settle, the Sultan of Morocco ordered him to go to Muslim state of Mali in West Africa, crossing the terrible Sahara Desert. Here he stayed for 2 years before reaching Morocco again in 1352, and then vanished from history until his death 1368 to 69. His account of his travel is the main source of the history and geography of much of the Muslim world in the Middle Ages. In this paragraph is also discussed about the life of the Ibn Battuta, and it's written that the time period which he traveled, he stayed 2 years before reaching Morocco again in 1352, and then vanished from the history. The vanish means that disappear from the history until his death. And also he count of his travel in the main source of history and geography of much of the Muslim world in the Middle Ages. Dear students, now we shall see the next passage, subheading from the chapter Al-Biruni 1973 to 1050. Al-Biruni was perhaps the most famous Arab scientist of early time. He was born in Uzbekistan and died in Ghazni. He was the most brilliant scholar and scientist of the time. He spoke Turkish, Sanskrit, Persian, Hebrew and Syriac, but he always wrote in Arabic. His many books, said to be 113, included those on medicine, geography, astronomy, mathematics and history. Dear students, now we shall discuss about Al-Biruni. He was also the famous scientist and he wrote many books in the language of Arabic, and he has a brilliant man, and especially when one realized that he had very few reference books, or he knew about the sophisticated operators to work with. He based his work on careful observations and experiment. In 1017, he went to India to study the culture, and his most famous book is India, in which he describes the custom, language, science and geography of the subcontinent in the 11th century. His other books are Chronology of Ancient Nation, Canon, a book on astronomy, Astrolabe, in which he deals with navigation, means to search the direction in the sea, as well as detailed account of all the known medicinal drugs at that time, and dynasties which deal with metals, liquids and jewels. He also wrote on astrology, mathematics, mechanics, meteorology, mineralogy, religion, philosophy, literature and magic. Mechanics means the knowledge related to machines. Meteorology, the knowledge related meteorology means the knowledge related to the weather forecast, and mineralogy means the knowledge related to, or you can say, the studies of chemistry, crystals, and also the knowledge related to the minerals. And also he knew about the different religions. Literatures means he knew about the languages and also the other magics. He also wrote many books on physics, and in that books he discussed the topic on springs and hydrostatics and geography. And also he suggested that the earth rotated on its axis and that the Indus Valley was once a basin of sea. Dear students, now we shall see the next subheading, Ibn Rushd. The era is 1126 to 1198. Abul Walid Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Rushd, more commonly known by his last name Ibn Rushd, was born in Cordoba. He was introduced to the court of Almohads and appointed as a Qazi judge in Seville. He had a strong command over a number of subjects, as education in those days was more comprehensive. Ibn Rushd, he was a strong command over a number of subjects, means he knew about a lot of subjects, and he also the lot of information about the other subjects also. He was well versed in law and also served as a physician, but Ibn Rushd's main contribution was to philosophy, and his treatise on the work of Greek philosopher Aristotle made him an authority on the subject. Ibn Rushd's writing on Greek philosophy were translated and used by European thinkers. The next subheading, Ibn Sina, 980 till 1037. Abu Ali Hassan ibn Abdullah ibn Sina came from Bukhara. He was a philosopher, a physician, and an important intellectual personality of his time. A brilliant student, Ibn Sina memorized the Quran at an early age and then went to the master logic, mathematics, philosophy, and medicine. Now we shall discuss about the Ibn Sina. Ibn Sina was also the great philosopher and the physician, and he was an important intellectual personality, and he was the Hafiz Quran, means that he learned or memorized the Quran, and also he was the master in logic, maths, philosophy, and medicine. The main books which he wrote on medicine, the name of that book is Canon of Medicine, Qanun al-Shifa, became in Europe the basis of teaching medicine till the 17th century. Ibn Sina writing on philosophy also brought him fame, means the writing of philosophy, he was very famous due to that. He travelled widely in Persia and died Hamdan in 1037. Now we shall see the next subheading from this chapter, Ibn Khaldun, 1332 till 1406. Abdurrahman ibn Muhammad ibn Khaldun, who lived from 1332 to 1406, is known as the father of historiography. Born in Tunisia, Ibn Khaldun grew up to a quite turbulent life. He served at the royal court in Fez, Morocco, and then went to Granada and eventually back to North Africa. He also served as Grand Qazi, Chief Justice in Cairo. Dear students, now we shall discuss about Ibn Khaldun. First of all, discuss this paragraph. The thing which is very important I want to discuss with you, that all these persons or all these men achieved fame for a particular branch of knowledge. They were masters of other subjects as well. This was because education in those days covered a variety of subjects, and an educated person was not restricted to any one field of knowledge. So Ibn Khaldun, his real name was Abdurrahman ibn Muhammad, and he was known as the father of historiography, and born in Tunisia, and he also served as Grand Qazi, Chief Justice in Cairo. He was trapped in Damascus when the city was attacked by Timur, who allowed him to return to Cairo. An unusual event, as many people were killed during this battle. Ibn Khaldun was a shrewd observer of human nature and the development of people and the civilization. He can also be called the father of sociology for his study and observance on groups of people. The Muqaddimah, introduction to Kitab al-Abar, written by him, is an immortal masterpiece on history and the rise and fall of civilization. Ibn Khaldun died in Egypt. Dear students, in this paragraph is also the new word which you saw here in the paragraph, historiography. The meaning of historiography is study of how history is written. Now we shall see the next subheading of the chapter. Al-Khwarizmi died 840. Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi was a famous mathematician who was born in Khwarizm in Persia. He established the Indian numeral system and use of zero in mathematics. His famous rests on his book Al-Maqala fi Hisab al-Jabr wal-Muqabala, from which the word algebra is derived, and on his mathematical calculations, which are named after him, logarithm. Dear students, in this paragraph we shall discuss about the Al-Khwarizmi. He was a person or the famous mathematician, and he wrote many books on maths, and he was also introduced the numeral system. Numeral system means the counting 1 to 3, and also the use of zero in mathematics. His famous book, which is very popular in math, is Muqalla fil Hisab al-Jabr wal-Muqabala. Al-Khwarizmi worked as astronomy and geography and made sundials and the astrolabes. He died in 840. Dear students, now the last subheading of this chapter, Umar al-Khayyam 1048 to 1125. Umar al-Khayyam, as he is popularly known, was of Persian origin. His name Khayyam actually means tent maker. He became famous later for his rubaiyat or quatrains, 4-line stanzas. Dear students, here we shall discuss about the Umar al-Khayyam, and it's written that he was very famous, or he became famous for his rubaiyat or quatrains. Rubaiyat is a plural for rubia, which is a 4-line poem. Umar Khayyam anthology of rubaiyat was translated into English by Edward in the 19th century. It became a very popular book in Europe. Dear students, Umar Khayyam also the important contribution to mathematics and astronomy, and he reformed the Persian solar calendar and renamed it as a Jalali calendar after the ruler of that time. This calendar is believed to be more accurate. It's in astronomical calculation than the Gregorian calendar, with the difference of only 1 day in 3770 years. And also the thing which we discuss over here, learning about the achievement of these remarkable men in various fields of knowledge, we see that they lived in period of Muslim history when the Muslim nation was strong and successful. This made it possible for the government and the rulers to support and finance scientists, philosophers, and men of knowledge, resulting in a developed civilization. Now the MCQ from this chapter. The first MCQ, Ibn Battuta journeys covered a total of 40,000 km, 120,000 km, 75,000 km, 60,000 km. So the correct option is option number 2, 120,000 km. MCQ number 2, he was appointed as a Qazi at the court of Dash. Humayun, Sher Shah Suri, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Akbar. The correct option is Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Ibn Battuta was appointed as a Qazi at the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. The third MCQ, Al-Biruni had mastered many languages, but he always wrote in Turkish, Hebrew, Arabic, Persian. The correct option is option 3, Arabic. Next MCQ. In order to study the country in depth, Al-Biruni visited first option Persia, India, China, Syria. The correct option is option 2, India. Next MCQ. Ibn Sina was a philosopher and also a physician whose main contribution was to option 1, philosophy, option 2, science, option 3, medicine, and option 4, physics. The correct option is option 3, medicine. Ibn Sina was a philosopher and also a physician whose main contribution was to medicine. The next MCQ, the Persian solar calendar was developed by Al-Khwarizmi, Umar Khayyam, Ibn Khaldun, Ibn Rushd. The correct option is option 2, Umar Khayyam. The Persian solar calendar was developed by Umar Khayyam. Now short question answers from the chapter. Question number 1. Who was Umar al-Khayyam? Umar al-Khayyam, as he is popularly known, was of Persian origin. His name actually means tent maker. He became famous later for his rubaiyat or quatrains. Question number 2. Who can be called father of sociology? Ibn Khaldun was an observer of human nature and the development of people and civilizations. He can also be called the father of sociology for his study and observations on groups of people. Now the short question number 3. What was Ibn Rushd's main contribution? Ibn Rushd's main contribution was to philosophy, and his treatise on work of Greek philosopher Aristotle made him an authority on the subject. Question number 4. In his book India, what did Al-Biruni describe? In 1017, he went to India to study culture, and his most famous book is India, in which he describes the custom, languages, science and geography of the subcontinent in the 11th century. Dear students, now we shall see the last short question. Who was Ibn Battuta and how much did he cover while traveling? Ibn Battuta was probably the most famous of the early travelers. On foot and by animals, he covered about 120,000 kilometers, the equivalent of 3 times around the equator. Now, long question answer from the exercise. The question number 1. What are mechanics, metrology and philosophy? Mechanics is the study and science of machines that deals with movement, force and motion, how they work, etc. Meteorology is the study of weather and climate. It helps in forecasting the weather. Number 3. Philosophy, from 2 Greek words, philo, love of, and sophos, wisdom, is the study of the nature of knowledge, reality and existence. It is study of the truth or wisdom through argument. Question number 2 from the exercise. What is the difference between astrology and astronomy? Astrology is the study of the movements of planets, stars, etc. in the belief that these can influence people's character and future. This is of course quite ridiculous. Astrology and magic were considered as much reality in the past as geography or mathematics. People really believed that the stars could not influence lives and characters. Magic was something that lay behind things that people could not understand. Primitive people till a few years ago believed that things such as aeroplanes and telephones were magic. Astronomy is the scientific study of the stars and the planets and their movements by means of telescopes and many other scientific instruments. Question number 3 from the exercise. Write about the importance of Al-Khwarizmi's work. How did this help later scientists and scholars? Al-Khwarizmi worked on mathematics, especially algebra, and the concept of zero, revolutionized and the application of mathematics to science and engineering. His major contribution was the adoption and the use of zero in mathematical calculations. Previously, a dot had been used to indicate nothing, and this led to confusion. He also was the inventor of what we call algebra and the complicated terms used in higher mathematics called algorithm, which is extensively used in computers today. His advances in astrolabes were also important. Dear students, now the homework for this lecture or for this chapter, you will read the chapter number 12 2 or 3 times, that it is very clear to you for you to understand, and also learn and write the MCQ, short question answer, and the long question answers from the exercise. See you in the next video. Goodbye.